Hi, this is Lee Harrington. And in this video, we're going to cover how to install Hadoop um, onto DigitalOcean's cloud service. So right here, I've logged in. I don't currently have any DigitalOcean calls them droplets, but they're virtual machines or VPSs. If I were going to do it manually, you could say create droplet, and um, you come up here at the interface to pick what version of Linux you want to use, how big. We're using CentOS. Um, we're going to have three in a set because Hadoop is a clustered environment. So if you want to test the cluster, so I would pick an 80 gig for my node one, which has most of the services. Um, a 4 gig, sorry, not an 8 gig, not 80 gig, 8 gig. It's $80 a month, but it's not going to be up running all month. So you can play with this for hours at a time and not break the bank. Anyway, the second node is going to be a 4 gig. It has the backup Ambari server and a data node. Well, they're all going to be used as data nodes, but a data node only. Um, so rather than do all this manually, I have a script using a product called open source product called Vagrant. And if I bring it up, so this is my Vagrant file, and I have three droplets: droplet one, droplet two, droplet three. If I were doing these local, I would call them nodes. Um, and so we have code in here that just sets up the fact that Vagrant, this tool that you can use to automate the spinning up and tearing down of virtual machines. Uh, I have an API token. This is how you log in to with an API to your virtual machine that you're creating on DigitalOcean, and that goes back to if I go back to my account, I've already created the API. I just want to show you. Mine's called test. You can never view it. So when you create, I'm going to generate a new token. I'm not going to use it, but I'll just call this demo. And if I click generate token, this is the only time it's going to show you that. So you copy it, you put it away somewhere. I've stored it in my Linux environment or my shell environment variable. I want to get rid of it now. But once you've created it, you never again get to see it. So if you ever lose it or forget it, you would have to create a new one. I've installed Git Bash on a Windows machine, and I'm not going to show it because I don't want you to see my token, but I have an environment variable that has that saved, and in my script I refer to it. So I'm using the DigitalOcean type of box. It's a Vagrant thing. Where to find it? Um, this one is 8 gig. It's which of their servers, their server farms, or uh, banks. They have several around the world to choose from. The host name. Now, I actually have the Libase Home domain, but this is not being shared out on the open. It will be on the open internet because it's hosted in the cloud, but this domain is going to be local to each of the machines. Um, so this is I use this domain over and over. Hadoop. This is my project I'm working on in Node 1, Node 2, and Node 3. And after we run the install process, I'm going to have to go in and update the etc host file with the actual IP addresses, but I don't know them ahead of time. They get assigned when these things are run. And then, so all this part here is just to get the DigitalOcean, again, they call it a droplet, but it's a virtual machine hosted in the cloud, set up. This sets the host name of because it's a Linux box. And then we're running a script. In this case, install Ambari server. And these are just all the things that you need to do. Let me make this a little bigger. Present. Oh, I knew how to do this once. Oh, I don't. That's fine. These are the steps We're turning off SE Linux. We're pulling down with the wget the Ambari repository. We are installing Java. We're installing the Ambari server, and we're bootstrapping the Ambari server here. We're starting it up, and then we're going to install the agent. So we're going to put the server on just the first node, and then each of the other two will get the agent. So if I look in the agent shell, this is all the steps to install Ambari agent, including setting up those Etsy host variables. So after all this install is done, I'm going to have to come back in and edit the HT hosts on each of these and put in the appropriate real IP addresses. So go back to my Vagrant file. So this was droplet 1. It's installing the server, and the script inside the server also runs the agent script. But on droplet 2 and droplet 3, I almost had a copy paste problem there. So droplet 1, 2, and 3, they just install the agent. So I've set my third one to be just 2 gig because I'm just going to use it as a data node. The droplet 2 I've set to 4 gig. So you can download and use my scripts, and all you'll do uh, is, let me go back here. So this is actually running on a Windows machine. I'm using Git Bash to give me a Unix-like environment on Windows. But in my C drive under Users, L. Herring Documents, I created a projects. So all my projects will live under there, and then testdio for DigitalOcean. And that's where I'm currently at. And if I look at my files, this Vagrant file here is the one that has that we just looked at, holds all the value. So all that said, the way it works is Vagrant, droplet 1, droplet 2, droplet. Now, it takes a good while for these to run. And it helps if I don't screw up. It's Vagrant. It's actually Vagrant up, sorry. Vagrant up. There we go. You'll see in a second it's going to start running. It didn't like my API. I'm going to pause here and correct that. Hold on. And I'm back. For some reason, it didn't like my use of the environment variable, although I tested before I started creating this video. Anyway, I just pasted the actual token back into the config file. I'll work that out later, but I wanted to go proceed. So let's go to Vagrant up, and in the name, the list of the droplets we want created. Droplet 1, droplet 2, droplet 3, and again, droplet, that's a DigitalOcean, that's what they call their virtual machine. So this one script, I should be able to spin up all 3 of my DigitalOcean servers, and you will be able to as well. So it's what? Huh. This is funny. It's not funny. Why is this happening right while I'm doing the video? Hold on. See what it does when it's all said and done. Now, this will take some time. Uh, I used to think that I no longer needed the most powerful PCs because every PC was more than powerful enough for what I did. Well, that all changes now that I'm working with Hadoop. I need more power. So don't be surprised if it takes a while for these scripts to run, and then after it runs, we'll go over and take a look at them. Um, but even then, it takes a while for all the services in Hadoop to start up. And the way we're doing this particular install, we're just installing Ambari, and then from there, we get to install everything else. As you can see right now, it does this when it's finished installing, and it needs to do the next step, but it needs the server to come up before it can. Um, and even though you can use this knowing no more than what I've shown you here, look at this is weird. This is totally strange. Well, let's see what we got. List my droplets. All right, it did node 1 and node 2. It puked on node 3, but so we have um, our. All right, I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, I had a typo in my that line I had just put in with the key, and I don't want to show you my keys, so just trust me. I corrected the typo, and now I just need to do the third one. So Vagrant up, and then droplet 3, and that's going to run through just the third one since the first two ran. And while that's running, I'm going to come over here and copy off these IP addresses. All right. I'm going to pause again real quick. Okay. So our node 1, the IP address is, there you go, and node, I'm sorry, that was node 2. This is node 1. All right. All right. That's node 1. This one's node 2. And then I bet you it's very similar. So let's go ahead and paste this, and we'll see what we need to do at the end. All right, so it's done. Let's come up here and refresh. That's right. Oh, I was wrong. Completely different address. All right. Okay. Now, if you, all right, let us just go in. Let's do this manually, just to show you another feature. So, Vagrant, I can go SSH, And then I'm going to go into the droplet one. And again, the way vagrants work, it knows, what how it set those up, and it's really convenient at this point. Um, and then a CD Etsy, uh, yeah. Let's do. Do I have nano? Sudo nano. I'm logged in as root, so I need to know sudo. So nano hosts. Uh, yum install nano. This is a Unix box, so you treat it like any other Unix box. All right, and I like the nano editor, so I probably should have put install nano in my script, and I'll correct that for the next time. So let's do nano hosts, and let's go ahead, and I think I have the third one still in my buffer, so paste. I did, and uh, node copy. I'm going to have to do this in all three machines. Paste, paste, and node 1 is 22, 2 is 33. Node 1 is 22, and 2 is 33. Okay, and then Control X, yes. All right, so now if I ping node 2 dot Hadoop dot libase home.com, it's right. That's what we wanted to happen. All right, I'm going to pause here, and you don't need to watch me, but I'm going to go to the other two. Well, here, let's exit out, and then Vagrant SSH droplet 2. All right, I'm going to pause. I'm going to do those same edits on 2 and 3. Okay, I have updated the host file on all three of my servers, and I also on my box, my Windows box that I'm the one I'm running to build all these things from. I need to update its host file. So it's under C Windows drivers, and then you have to edit as admin. So I can't do it that way. So let me run. Right click, run as administrator, and then now let me go to see Windows system 32 drivers. Let's see Windows. Okay, and I got to do those same things here. See, I think I have them. No. I'm actually recording this from a Mac, remoted into a Windows box, and from there I ran the script. So, because my recording software is on my Mac. So let's do sudo nano hosts, and I should just be able to copy all three like this, and come in here, paste. All right, node 1, node 2, node 3. All right, control save. And let's check that from um, Windows command box. Ping node 1 dot Hadoop dot rebase home. Okay, so let's see. Time to see if we did it. So we're going to go to node 1, Hadoop, rebase home, and then 8080 is the port that is listening with Ambari. Admin is the default login. Um, Now, keep in mind, you are actually on, when you're using a cloud provider, you're on the real wide open internet. So things like passwords, admin, really not smart. So you want to change those things as soon as you can. Um, I just want to, I'm going to stop this part here. So we've installed our 3 nodes. We brought up Ambari, and then Ambari is actually running in the first node that we installed it on, and from here we're going to install the rest of our setup. I'm going to stop this recording and we'll start a new one. Again, this is Lee Harrington, and I hope that you are deriving value from this.